What we know is a drop. What we do not know is an ocean. These words were quoted by one of the greatest physicists to ever have lived, Newton. Isaac Newton, an English scientist, proposed the three laws of motion in his renowned book Principia in 1687, which govern the fundamentals of motion and forces and are relevant even today after 3 centuries. Newton's three laws of motion describe the relationship between a body and the forces acting upon it, and its motion in response to these forces. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle had the view that all objects have a natural place in the universe, that heavy objects such as rocks wanted to be at rest on earth, and that light objects like smoke wanted to be at rest in the sky, and the stars wanted to remain in the heavens. He thought that a body was in its natural state when it was at rest, and for the body to move in a straight line at a constant speed, an external agent was needed continually to propel it. Otherwise, it would stop moving. Galileo Galilei, however, realized that a force is necessary to change the velocity of a body, that is acceleration, but no force is needed to maintain its velocity. He stated that in the absence of a force, a moving object will continue moving. This insight was refined by Newton in his book Principia into his first law, also known as the law of inertia. No force means no acceleration, and hence the body will keep on moving. The second law offered a quantitative measure of force applied, and the third law talked about existence of action-reaction forces. He developed his three laws in order to explain why the orbits of the planets are ellipses rather than circles, at which he succeeded, but it turned out that he explained much more. The first law of motion states that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same velocity unless acted upon by an external unbalanced force. In simple words, an object tends to keep on doing whatever it is doing and resists change in state of its motion. This property of objects to resist changes in their state of motion is sometimes called inertia, and thus this law is also referred to as the law of inertia. There are hundreds of examples all around us which display the property of inertia of objects. If you're driving a car and you suddenly push the brakes, you are thrown forward due to inertia, that is, your body was in a state of forward motion and thus resisted change in its motion when you pushed the brakes, thus pushing you forward. An air hockey puck keeps on moving with constant velocity unless it hits the side of the table and changes direction. If you stir a glass of milk, the milk inside keeps swirling even after you stop stirring. This is also due to inertia. Before we move on further to the second law, let us look at what mass means. As we've already seen, the property of a body to stay in the state of rest or to remain in motion with constant velocity is inertia. Mass is just the measure of inertia of the object. As noted in the first law, the object tends to keep on moving with constant velocity or stays at rest only when the forces on it are balanced. Things get exciting when the forces acting on an object are unbalanced. The second law states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied, and this change in momentum takes place in the direction of the applied force. It simply means that the force acting on an object is equal to the mass of that object times its acceleration. This is written in mathematical form as F is equal to ma, where F is the force, m is mass, and a is acceleration. So the net force acting on an object and the mass of the object helps us in determining the acceleration of the object. For example, if we throw a ball down from a building, the only force acting on it is a gravitational force. This force can be calculated using the second law of motion by multiplying mass of the object and the acceleration due to gravity on Earth. It is one of the most important laws in physics as it quantitatively describes the forces on an object and also implies the conservation of momentum if no force is acting on the object. The second law of motion helps us in understanding why it is harder to push a truck than a car as the car has less mass. Let us move on to the most interesting law amongst the three, Newton's third law of motion. The third law of motion states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You push a car, the car pushes you back. You sit on a table, the table pushes you up. You shout at your mom. Well, in this case, the reaction might not be equal, but certainly not good for you. The important aspect to note in this law is that the action and reaction forces act on different objects. So, if you apply force on the ground pushes you forward, which helps you walk. You might think that these forces should cancel each other. However, they're not acting on the same object, thus motion is possible in the first place. In the modern era of physics, quantum mechanics is replacing classical mechanics rapidly. Nevertheless, Newton's laws are still widely used to accurately describe the motion of objects which we encounter in our daily lives. The laws fail when we consider very small objects like electrons or objects moving very close to the speed of light. That is all for today's video. Do like, share and subscribe to our channel Explified to get access to more such content.